Lord B and Jester talking about everything from crystals, vibrations, comics, technology, cartoons, magic, meditation, herbal remedies, etc. Whatever comes to mind, just going on tangents and rambling on.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Start Static Wrestling podcast. We are reviewing Fyter Fest from last night. It was a pretty amazing show. Lord B has snuck into the podcast. I got him to watch Fyter Fest last night. He hasn't watched wrestling in years and years and years, and I want to know your input overall. What was your rating of the show out of 5 stars?
Out of 5 stars, I would give it a 5. I mean, it brought me back to when I was a kid and watching it with the douchebag boyfriend of my mother, Steve. And it was,
Steve.
I mean, it was awesome. Back then, I mean, we would pretend to do the fight moves and stuff like that. I mean, back in the day of, I mean, I don't want to ruin what we're about to talk about some of it, and we're going to touch on what I'm about to say too. So I'll save a little of that for that. But I mean,
give me your
it was really
the Reader's Digest version of your history.
Let's just say this Fyter fight brought me back to it felt like a tribute to Mick Foley a little bit with the tax, the brutality, the randomness. I mean, it reminded me like, if someone pulled out Sacco, we would have been. I would have lost my goddamn mind.
The Rock and Sock connection.
I mean, that last fight. I mean, we'll get to it.
We'll get there. That's one of the last things we'll talk
hooked.
about. Okay.
I'll just quick say that last fight. I'm gonna watch the next one. I mean, this
well, I'm gonna try to go you in reverse and have you watch Double or Nothing, which was before Fyter Fest, and
I'm on board.
You'll love it. That's that pay-per-view was, it made me giddy. It made me tear up twice. I mean, it put me back into a childhood state, and it was amazing. And this one, I was so excited for it, and it what's the word? It delivered.
It didn't fail? Yeah.
No, I don't think it failed.
So much nostalgia to it. Like, amazing. Amazing job. These guys did a great job.
Well, my rating...
Good. Go into it.
My rating of Fyter Fest in total was about 4 3/4 stars because of the buy-in. And that's the only reason I cut it off. Otherwise, it would have been a 5-star fucking thing. And I'm going to touch on the buy-in.
I didn't see that part. So.
Right. You came in a little later, but I'm going to slightly touch on the buy-in matches because I wasn't really that impressed. If I were to do the 5 stars on the buy-in, I would give it a 1 out of 5. The Librarians, the Librarian versus let's see here, Allie versus Leva Bates. I felt like Leva Bates's moves were very hesitated. It didn't flow. I've seen Allie before. Nothing really surprised me about that. Private Party was probably the reason that they got a 1. They impressed me like no other. That was a great match. I wish they would have won, but the Best Friends are good too. Michael Nakazawa, his character is interesting, but he comes out with baby oil and he pours it all over himself, and I just don't like that. For one, it's kind of dangerous. It's interesting in the aspects that he uses it to his advantages, where he slides onto the person and then backdrops like he's slipping, but he knows what he's doing. And then we're going to get into the actual Fyter Fest. Okay, so Christopher Daniels versus Chima. I've never seen Chima before. I've seen Daniels a million times. He's a very veteran wrestler. So none of the moves really surprised me. It was like I've seen it before. It felt like a normal match. There was good sequences and stuff. And the crowd seemed split on it. They were yelling, Christopher Daniels, and then they were yelling Chima at the same time. I give it a 2 stars out of 5. And then this is where Lord B came in last night to watch it, and he had his family watching and everything. It was great. There'd be Nyla Rose versus Riho versus Yuka Sakazaki. Okay? And I give that match 3.5 stars. I'm not sure how you felt about it, but what would you give that match from memory?
I mean, that, as you said, that's where I came in, and I was hooked. I mean, the acrobatics. I mean, just what Yuka did, or Yuki, I'm probably saying it wrong. Yuka. When she jumped up on the middle of the top rope and didn't fucking lose her balance, I was like, I gotta keep watching. I'm watching. I'm hooked.
Those wily Japanese girls,
the randomness, man. The crazy jumps, like it was amazing. And then when Riho showed up, I was like, what the fuck is going? I thought it was a 1-on-1. Now it's a 3-match, and they all were against each other. It was
almost like
battle.
a beast
really
versus two tiny people. Like, it was amazing. The double suplex that.
Oh my God! When she caught them both, and they like one jumped at her, she caught her, no worries, and then the next one jumped and she caught her. Like, how the fuck? Nothing. You didn't even wiggle. You just caught her. Didn't even move.
It was almost like Nyla's big ass power versus some speed, and those girls impressed me like no other. Even in Double or Nothing, I was like, who are these girls? Like, and apparently, from a little history for you, I think it's Yuka was Kenny Omega's intergender match partner, and she started when she was like 8 or 9, like started wrestling at that young.
Wow.
So there's a reason that they hit these moves to a T, to a point. They practiced all their life for it. So I don't know why I gave it a 3.5 out of stars, and I think that's, it was a really good match.
Yeah, well, I mean, my rating is probably going to be a little bit higher on that match just because of how it it brought me back and gave me the feels and all that of like the first one I came into, I was hooked. The next one, epic. The one after that, I mean, I'm going to say epic so many times.
All right, well, let's get into the next one.
Go.
What'd you think about MJF and his cockiness when he came out and he was talking to the crowd and just ripping on, fucking pulling out jokes and shit?
Dude, I said something to my wife, and I go, man, Jesse used to do this backyard wrestling with a couple buddies, and you guys recorded it a couple times, and I go, that fucking cocky face right there, Jesse persona'd that when he would do that. Do the arms out, do the I'm going to end you type look. And I was like,
great.
I got to watch this whole thing and see what happens. I mean, his cockiness was there, like, of that guy was awesome. I mean, I don't know all their names. As I said, I just
what about Jimmy Havoc? What were your thoughts on his character?
Jimmy Havoc,
I felt like his face didn't necessarily match his look.
Yeah, and I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. Your face, your posture. I mean, you're built the way you're built. I think he did all right. He did remind me kind of the like an awkward kid in high school that's like, I want to be part of this. I'm going to get into it. Stuff like that.
But I'm going to do it my way.
Yes. I liked it. His character carried well with his look. The havocness, the darkness, the mask he was wearing when it came out.
And he had some good moves,
it really
too.
drew you into the character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't hear him talk or anything like that, so I mean, I can't give you a solid, one way or the other of how I completely feel, but I think he did a great job.
All right, now we're going to talk about
fight.
our buddy and our boy, the person that me and you, I think both were like, dude, this guy's awesome, and that was Boner Alert, Jungle Boy.
Jungle Boy.
And there was a lot of things on Twitter about like, get some tighter, underwear and stuff. And it went through the whole show. There was a lot of guys. It seemed like they had some loose stuff, but you pointed it out, and I'm like, oh my God.
I mean, a lot of it was that way, and I completely agree. They need some tighter equipment. It is what it is. I mean, everyone's going to buy what they can buy until they're huge, big time, whatever. But I really feel that this whole AEW is on the right track. I mean, they're bringing back the feel of old school stuff, and it's,
with this whole new feeling with it,
sneaky and awesome and all that. I mean, I think I said it great earlier when we were talking about it. that basically it brings me back to my childhood when wrestling wasn't a midday TV drama, which it is now. And I can't watch any of that stuff now, and that's why I fell out of it. And when Jester was telling me about all this, I was still hesitant. But then he was like, all right, check it out. And then I'm watching it. I'm like,
and it was
free.
free.
Into your podcast tomorrow.
And it was free.
Yeah, free. Huge
that seemed like it could have been a $50 pay-per-view, to be honest. Like, it was worth it.
Easily.
So worth the money.
I mean, that one fight, went 20 minutes, and you didn't even notice. It felt like a 5-minute fight. But it went
and that's what we're going to talk about
was
next.
Insane.
But Hangman Page, and I just wanted to talk about these characters because the match was great all on its own. Jungle Boy's jump off the top of the corner when he flung that thing off. Oh my God, I thought he was dead. I thought he landed on his neck.
Yeah, you're talking about the backflip?
Yes.
When he did that backflip off the corner, off of the ring, not into the ring, but away from it, and then he hit his foot on the ring, so he did land weird, but boom, bounced right up. No worries. That was really cool.
I guess the only guy we're missing is Hangman Page. He kind of reminds me of Stone Cold a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, just a little bit. I don't know. I think it's maybe his attitude or, the whole, Texas feel of him, maybe? I don't know where I can place it, but it just kind of has that feel.
He kind of, if you want to blend it, I kind of got, a little Triple H out of him. It might be the hair. It's his bone structure of his face, but also a little bit of his demeanor. Along with, I get the Stone Cold, I am me, and you need to, understand that scenario. Right. But, yeah, I don't want to ruin it, but it was, as it went on, the show, and the end was fucking
We'll get there.
Awesome.
I want to take a second to thank Chris Jericho. He deserves all the thanks for Fyter Fest. He deserves all the thanks for AEW. And I think Jericho deserves all the thanks, and he needs to get that thanks from AEW. And that's all I'll say about that. All right, now we're going to get into the Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin match. Okay, I gave it a 4-star. And the only reason I gave it a 4-star is just because 2-star Cody. His moves were kind of boring, and I was more impressed with Darby Allin. And I want to talk about Darby Allin because it seemed like you had a lot of thoughts about that guy.
Yes, I feel like he was underplayed a little bit just because of the size of Cody compared to him. I mean, they did say he's used to fighting bigger guys and all that stuff, but at the same time, it's like if he was matched against, let's say, Jungle Boy, I think it would have been a little more inventive, as in it would have been evenly matched, a little more active. I mean, it was very active. He did some crazy acrobatic stuff. He did one move where Cody tried to flip him, and he just straight-armed in the air over top of him and then landed on his feet. No fucking way.
I want to talk about
every
that.
Time it looked,
Go ahead.
Well, just real quick, every time he would get his bearings, Cody would strong-arm him. So it was like he just constantly couldn't get up to, whatever, which in a way was really to Cody's benefit because I'm pretty sure it would have been faster battle if Darby was able to get his balance, just to how quickly and insanely they were going.
I think if he was matched up with a little quicker of a person, it would be, I would have loved it. Two big moves from Darby was the first one was when he went off the rope and he almost just full extended his body and got super high on it and then landed on his feet. That was awesome. And then Darby's backdrop thing onto the side of the apron.
Coffin dive, I believe they called it.
God. I remember you messaged me last night. You're like, why? Why would you do that to yourself?
My reaction, and I could not type it, was, oh, God. And, I mean, you wouldn't have been able to, you would have read it in text form and been like, what the fuck did you just say? But
I wouldn't understand.
Oh, my God. It was, I cringed. I thought he was dead. I thought he just broke his spine. I was like, this
like
You're not
someone's
getting
gonna
up.
die.
There's no way you landed like that. Like,